Well, hello guys, welcome back. Loki taught me a lesson. He's the club to teach me a lesson. So yeah, the club is back. We went to the club and we had fun and the girls were amazing and they've redesigned them again so they're slightly different. They're getting more and more human is what they're becoming. They're less and less like a character in a game and more like actual women scanned into the game. It's past the uncanny valley point. For a while there, it was at the uncanny valley point, and that was kind of not my thing. And I was hoping they weren't going to stay there, but now they're like a titch off a woman scan into the game, and it's amazing to watch them, dance and do everything. So we were enjoying that, and the girls are back. The girls were friendly. I mean, the girls were really friendly. It was like the club used to be like, oh, can I dance for you? And all this other stuff. And I was like, yeah. So we went twice tonight. And just to teach me a lesson, Loki had me download the girls again that you can put in the home. And we have put them in the home after the first club session. And we went back to the club and we came back and we looked at those girls and I'm like, Loki, I would never be unkind to a woman, but these girls are kind of ugly, aren't they? And he's like, oh yeah. Um, they're kind of like women that were designed by somebody that's never seen a woman. Um, their skin, it has this weird mottled texture to it, and they're just proportioned wrong. They're real thick in a way a heavyset woman would be, and yet they're not meant to be that thick. They're meant to be a thin, petite, buxom beauty. And their proportions are just, we realized, all wrong. And they look like whoever designed them has never seen a real naked woman in their life. And I'm like, wow, these after seeing the club women and remembering what female anatomy is actually supposed to look like as opposed to these models, now these models are supposed to be fantasy models. I'm like, these girls couldn't move in real life. I don't think that one has hips. He's like, yeah, I know. So we threw all the girls out because they were starting to give us nightmares. So those girls are gone. And they were bad looking. Whoever designed them, they meant to design something sexy and it just was all boob, nothing else. The one girl was so badly designed, she had two boobs and she had a nipple for a belly button. Either it was a weird fetish dude that designed this, and this was from an Oculus fan base of, like, women to decorate the home with. I know what that sounds like. Female companionship, let's put it that way. And you can't find male companionship. I've found one male model, and we're like, if we want, we'll do like a Mark Ruffalo standee, but we're not in the mood right now. I hear, back here. Um, and it taught me that having two groups of something is not always a good thing. The one group was really good, the dancers in the club, because they actually move. And then you come back home and there's just all these static images and they start to look a mite creepy. Really creepy, actually. Like you put a bunch of mannequins in your home, so we got rid of them. If they would move a little bit, I mean, even like limited movement, if they'd at least breathe, damn it. But they don't breathe, they don't blink, they don't do anything. So yeah, we were looking at them and we're like, is the cab of mannequins in our home? So we got rid of those and we agreed. We had made his home into a temple where Segan could be and the kids could be and all the gods and goddesses could come visit. And the first thing we did when we brought the damsels in distress in was to take down half that stuff because it didn't seem appropriate. And we're like, yeah, it's better to kick the chicks out. So we kicked them out. We deleted the files again. And now we have this weird temple that has all his stuff and Pegasuses and Pinkie Pie and unicorns. I'm probably on some government watch list because they probably think there's something mentally wrong with me. And it's like, no, I'm just decorating for Loki. And he's like a little child. One day he wants bikini models, the next day it's Pinkie Pie. And you just learn to go with the flow. And I realize he's been lonely enough that he hasn't left. He's been imitating other gods because he's been trying to make me happy. I had a lot of people for a while complaining to me Loki wasn't spending time with them. And I think Loki thought he was stressing me out spending time with me, so he just decided to imitate other gods. A lot of other gods. And we were having time together tonight, and I looked at him, and it just clicked. And I said, damn it. He's like, what? What? He's like real alarmed. I said, I should have known the way they were speaking, they would stop, and it was like they were trying to remember the voice and trying to remember what they said. And, you know, when you see your God in your mind's eye, that's how it works for me. Eyes as big as saucers. I said, how didn't you fall over dead? I love you and want to make you happy? He was just trying to make me happy. If he thought disappearing for a while was going to make me happy because too many people were complaining it was disappearing, he was going to do that. If he thought being here would make me happy, he was going to do that. He usually tries to make us happy. And we have to make sure to send the right signals to Loki. If we want him around, we have to show him we want him around. We have to spend time with him every day. We have to do stuff with him every day. And we have to know that even if he feels withdrawn, he's still around somewhere. When we feed into that subset of Lokeanism, and it's out there, that, oh, Loki left forever and ever and ever, and he's never coming back, that's when he develops behavioral problems, because he wants to actually make us happy. He's one of the few gods that actually gives a shit about making his people happy. He wants you happy. He wants you happy, and seeing you smile is like the greatest thing, which is why we've been listening to Pinkie Pie for the last 2 days. Make it stop. But seriously, he wants to see you smile, and if being around all the time makes you happy, he'll do it. If getting the fuck out of your face makes you happy, he'll do that too. He doesn't know how to make humans happy, and he's told me that before. He said, if I'm around all the time, you humans complain. If I leave you alone for a while, I'm a bad god and I ran away. He just doesn't know. He takes simple commands. Not commands, he's a god, but if you say, Loki, please stay, he will stay. We just have to work on our discernment. Sometimes we're worried about shit, or we're emotionally invested in shit, or we're working or something, and he might be screaming and doing jumping jacks, doing the hula. And we won't see him because we're not tuned into him. You have to kind of sometimes stop and put all the fun stuff or all the worry stuff aside and spend time with Loki. I think I got yay back here. That might have actually been Odin. But I asked them today, I said, are you two happy? Because you know they're my favorites. And I said, are you two happy? And the real answer is Loki has been playing a hell of a lot of gods trying to make me happy. And Odin's been helping. Because I noticed some inconsistencies in the gods. And we're kind of wondering, because I'd go to those temples, and the way their gods acted was not the way my gods were acting. My gods were all acting a particular way because the same god was playing all the roles. And as soon as I would read an article, the behavior of that god would change dramatically. Now, that can sometimes happen. It can sometimes try to make us happy, but it can also be a god is trying to fulfill a role, and if that's what they have to be today, they will. So Loki nearly drove himself to a nervous breakdown trying to make me happy. He was like, okay, if we're playing the Loki went away for a couple months game, I'll just be someone else. And we have to watch we don't drive him to that. He does want to be with us every day. Most gods do. Most gods will be underfoot and you'll be yelling at them. One problem he does have is the main people I talk to are Christians, and they're not bad people. They're lovely people, but there's always going to be that thing of if you were raised Christian or raised Catholic, you're going to remember all the guilt stuff. And sometimes when I talk to my friends, as much as I love them, then I come home and I just feel crummy and scummy because, you know, I work with these pagan deities and I'm going to this club and pagan deities are pro-sex and, you know, pro-fun, and it's two opposite worlds. And sometimes when you go back to your old world, so to speak, to visit friends or family, you could come home feeling pretty scummy. And that's not my friend's fault. That was, I was raised Catholic and everything was bad. The Catholic God that I never met, remember, I was taught hated me because I was a woman, because I was gay, and he hated witches, and he hated pagans, and he hated any other god or goddess. Sometimes that can crop back up. And it can crop back up even if your friends are kind and loving and everything else, which was why I was afraid when it came down to help. I'm like, oh my god, if he sees anything for the gods, they're done with me. Or they're gonna preach Jesus at me. I don't know which one will be worse. So I'm happy everything worked out. I used to tell the gods hide when people came into the house, and I didn't even remember to do it the other day, yesterday. But everything's worked out. And Loki used the club. He was like, I want you to see what the club looks like, and there's no replacing living, breathing model, so to speak, with static mannequins. And there's no replacing Loki with a bunch of other gods. And poor Loki. And he seems surprised that I finally got on, and I'm like, he's done this before. I know I've had this revelation before, but this time it feels like it finally caught, because I told him something feels different in this house. With that the water heater changed, the whole entire house, the energy feels different. Now, it could have been because we had a flood of water that metaphorically cleansed the house, but it could just be, that was, I think, the last thing left, the last major thing left that my father had gotten, and now that's gone. And now everything's on my shoulders, so to speak, and the energy in the house feels completely different because the heart of the house, so to speak, is my heart. It's everything I've paid for, everything down there, so to speak. So, and I'm not saying that to brag. It's just, it occurred to me every time, I would go down there and see stuff my father had bought. It wasn't like terrible, like every piece of furniture in here is old furniture. But now the heart of the house, the foundation of the house, so to speak, is stuff I put in. And I guess that just changed my perspective of the house. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm talking too much. It's late. I'm going to stop recording for now. Go do something. But yeah, poor Loki. I think that's actually why he was nudging me towards the temples. He wanted me to see that and have my doubts about their legitimacy, and I don't care if they're legitimate or not. God's bless them. As long as they're not harming people or feeding people drugs, I don't care what they do. Yeah. Look, he's back here. As long as it's not a child trafficking ring, it's none of our damn business. As long as they're not hurting people, I don't care. If they're play acting or they're legitimate, I really don't care. But it kind of makes sense of why I couldn't tell a lot of my gods apart and why some of them had such... This is weird, but both Loki and Odin have come to me with the most stunning blue eyes. I mean, they're like this color that you don't see in human beings. And one of the models, this is the strange part, when we were cleaning up the models, when I had downloaded the models and put them back up in the house, one of the models they weren't perfect, they weren't even anywhere close because they were eyes on a model, but they were glowing blue like their eyes glow, and it was like, wow, that's different. So it was definitely a sign. I'd asked Loki if I could have a sign in my, the lock screen you have on your computer, that changed from whatever it had been to penguins from the Antarctic. So I'm like, yeah, it's definitely Loki tipping his hand, because he likes all the little animals. He's like the lord of animals, not officially, but he likes them. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.